Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the Algebra 1 concept of graphing inequalities. This is standard A.3D in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 17 of the 2023 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we have a blank coordinate grid that we can use. We have an inequality. We need to find which of these four coordinate pairs could fit. Well, if we wanted to, we didn't even have to use the coordinate grid, even though we are going to for this purpose. We could just plug each of those x and y coordinates into the actual inequality to see which one makes a true statement. So we are going to change our grid size to small, increase the transparency. I am going to zoom it in. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and just write our four answer selections, because when I zoom it in, I don't want to have to scroll up and down. So 5, -4, -2, -5, 9, 1, and then -8, 3. All right? And then our actual inequalities y is less than or equal to 3/5 x minus 6. All right, now that I have all that, let me zoom in, see if I can make that grid a little bit bigger. All right, so it's taking up a little bit more of the screen. Remember, I've got my small grid size because there's actually a grid back behind there, so I'm going to try to line it up as much as possible. We'll see what we could do here. And so, how do we graph this? Well, if we think of this as our slope-intercept form, right, we know that this -6 is our b, which is our y-intercept. So we can go ahead and put that on our graph. I'm going to add that as a point here. So it's going to be -6, okay, and that's about as close as we can get to that line right there. There we go. All right, so that's where we're going to kind of leave our graph. It doesn't always line up perfectly, but it'll get us kind of where we need to. All right, so now that we know that we've got that -6, what else do we know about this? Well, we do know that since it's a greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to, and we've got that less than or equal to, it's going to be a solid line, which means we're going to be able to include any of the points that actually land on the line. Right? If it's just a less than or a greater than, it's going to be a dotted line. We cannot include anything that's on the line. So the other thing that we need to know is this m is our slope. And you know what? We've got that slope right there. Right? So the m is the slope, that's 3/5. Remember, that's the change in y over the change in x. So what we could do here is we could just take our 6 and we could change, it's going to be positive, right? So we're going to change 3, up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then over 5. It's going to go right there. So that's going to be one of our points. And we'll just put a little dot right there. Okay, and then let's do another up 3, then another over 5. That's another one of our points. Okay, and then we want to kind of move it backwards here. We're going to go down 3, and then we're going to go over to -5. That's another one of our points. So you see we've got a series of 4 points here. I'm going to try to use this connect line feature here. And I'm going to try to just see if I can kind of connect it. I want to connect it through. And I want to connect it through this way here. All right, so it's kind of off the graph, but that's fine, because now that's my solution set. The only thing I need to know is less than or equal to. Okay, so if it's going to be this less than or equal to, you shade below, because that's less than the line. And so we're going to shade this set right here. And now that's where our solution set is. All we need to know is which dots or which of these points are actually in there. So 5, -4 lands right there. -2, -5 lands outside of it. 9, 1 is definitely out of it. And then -8, 3 is also definitely out of it. So what's the only one that lands in there? It's that 5, -4, and that is our answer, A.